What is up, Gorilla Nation, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. But if you would be so kind, please show some love to that like button. Also smash and ground and pound that sub button if you happen to be new to the channel. And don't forget to reach up there, trigger that bell, and turn on post notifications so that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, first and foremost, I did scour the YouTubeosphere and of course several social media sites across Facebook and Twitter, and try to get a consensus on if anybody has yet to put together this combination. And thus far I have not, but that's not saying that somebody out there hasn't already, but at least it hasn't been posted up there in on the internet, and I've been actually enjoying it, so that's why I put on the thumbnail like no other, because I haven't seen no other like it. No one put together these combinations, and it is really fun. It's not min-maxed by far. I just got to find the right pieces with the right combinations on it, and it is going to be even more of a slap fest melting NPCs and players even in the dark zone with this particular build. Just keep that in mind. It is not complete. It's around 90%, and I'm going to send you over to some gameplay first, and then we're going to hop into the build. So we'll see you guys and gals back here in just a moment.
You're dying. You're dying.
Nah, homeboy.
Said you want to talk. Fuck, you said you want to talk no more shit.
Man. Yeah, you sit down too, homeboy. You sit down too, homeboy.
As you can see, it is a lot of fun. It actually works. Just also, I'm going to keep reiterating because I know somebody is going to comment in the comment section, even though I say this, that this build is not min-maxed at all. It is percent complete. It's just a matter of still testing and going out there and adjusting my Legos when it comes to my defensive attributes and my offensive ones, and trying to find the absolute sweet spot according to my play style and how to best utilize these pieces and talents and sets that are together. So without a further ado, and enough of my rambling, let's hop into it. As you can see, it is 4 pieces Negotiator's Dilemma, and as you see most in the DZ, well, here on PS4 anyways, except for it may be different on PC or Xbox, but as far as on PS4, the last couple days since I've been back going into the DZ, that's basically all you see is groups running Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush. But yet, like I said and stated, I have yet to see anybody put together this combination, and it was asking me to put together kind of like a hybrid type thing, to where a solo could use it and utilize it, and it still be really effective without having to use the Bulwark brand set. Thus why I entitled the thumbnail and this build No Bull, because it requires no pieces of Bulwark whatsoever. Negotiator's Dilemma has been around, and as the brand set says, or I should say the gear set, 2 pieces gives you the 15% crit chance, 3 pieces gives you 20% critical hit damage, and then there's the 4 piece. And this is where it comes in to where if you're in a duo or a solo type thing, whether it be PvP or PvE, that this can be really effective, especially even if you like instead of the Lady Death, you use like the Pestilence, so that way they get the tick from the Plague of the Outcast, as well as the tick from the Hostile Negotiations. Critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 marks total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times or until combat ends. In this particular piece, I have went with the max armor roll on it, and then of course I have 10% critical hit damage, and then I'm actually missing something in the mod slot. So we'll just go ahead and slap in, we'll just go with the critical hit damage aspect of it. I can see I'm limited on those. There we go. So that way we don't forget when we go over the actual numbers. So the premise is, as you've seen on that, and as I read, you can ding, say, 2 other players or even an NPC, and then start shooting at another enemy, and while you're shooting that one, the other one that you tagged is still going to be taking 60% of the damage that you're dealing out for each bullet. So if you're using the likes of the Pestilence in incorporation with that, then they're going to be taking a tick from the Plague of the Outcast, plus Negotiator's Dilemma, or, if somebody on your teammate's using the Hive, then it's all that, that combination of, the ticks. Gotta get those ticks, especially, with those that are running, the Bulwark set. Now the holster, 14.8 weapon damage and 3.6% critical hit chance. I'm not, currently looking for a better holster because I do want to switch this over to a blue, but that is a abysmal roll on attributes as far as 3.6% critical hit chance. So yes, that's why I said this build is by far min max. So keep that in mind. Knee pads, max armor roll on them and 10.4% critical hit damage. And the better pieces you have with better rolls on them is going to reflect in your numbers. On the gloves, max armor roll on it and 4.3 critical hit chance. Now the other 2 main components, you can go with another Walker Harris piece. The second piece will give you the 5% damage to armor. And of course, if you have a better roll than what I have on the weapon damage here, if you get a max one at 15, then potentially you can actually dish out more damage because of that 5% damage to armor if you have a Walker Harris chest piece. And I haven't been able to actually find a decent one to replace this Suckle-Off piece that I currently have. But when I'm able to do so, that is exactly what I plan on doing. But for the time being, and when I do get the materials, until I find a better one, I mean, this is better than nothing. At least on this Walker, I was just going to take off Spark and put on Intimidate. So, I mean, at least it does have, headshot damage and critical hit damage and weapon damage on it. I just got to get the material, so I will be switching to this. I will lose 5% weapon damage, but I'm gaining 5% damage to armor. And in comparison, the 5% damage to armor is going to be more beneficial than just straight up 5% weapon damage, because you can actually do more damage with the damage to armor than you can with the regular damage, because damage to armor is multiplicative versus additive. But on the backpack, weapon damage, critical hit damage, headshot damage, and of course another critical hit damage mod. And the talent is Perfect Adrenaline Rush. When you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. So the more enemies, more or less, that you are around, the more bonus armor you can stack up. And keep in mind, it's only for 5 seconds, so it's basically just zigzag, bob and weave, getting close to your enemies. And the more that are grouped together, the more stacks you get. But if you just kind of rush up in there when there's one, at least you get 23% bonus armor. And since, 23% is not much when it comes to 1.2 armor, that's why I'm trying to find the sweet spot and better pieces in which I can roll other pieces to put actually armor on. But as is, it was actually still effective. And also it stacks if someone in your group is running like Vanguard or the exotic chest piece. Like when their armor breaks, you get that bonus armor, or when they deploy their shield, you get bonus armor. So it does stack, so it is more potent when running in a group, and someone is utilizing those type talents and brand sets and exotics in your group, as far as the exotic chest piece and the Vanguard talent on the chest. So that helps out even more. But yes, as I plan on going along, upping your armor is going to increase your I would say durability and survivability, especially if you do not have people in your group running those type talents and exotics. So definitely survivability, you want to up the armor because it is only 23%. And then we have Intimidate. And of course the Intimidate is, while you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 35%, enemies within 10 meters. So this is within 10 meters. And also, the Adrenaline Rush is within 10 meters. So these two talents do synergize really nicely. As you can see, this chest piece is kind of abysmal. I'm stuck with the armor regen. It had, I believe, health on it, so that's why I went with a critical hit damage to up that. So yeah, definitely need a better piece. That's why I say this build is By far not min-maxed, but it is very viable and usable, and nobody has yet to put together this combination, so that's why I went with it. And it is a lot of fun. I must say that the first time I actually went into the Dark Zone, I saw everybody and their grandma using this, and I'm like, I will never make an Adrenaline Rush Intimidate build. And then, talking and discussing with friends and whatnot, going through viable options and, seeing what everybody's using. And I'm like, well, since everybody's using it, let's try to come up with a better method. And then someone asked me on the comment section, as far as 1v2s and, different situations like that. Or, especially when you're just outnumbered when you're in the Dark Zone, 2v4 or whatever. And of course, if you have more armor, this is actually going to benefit you. But at least, tagging some enemies, 2 especially, or even the 1, and then shooting at your other primary target, you're dealing damage to both. So it does work out really well. Of course, most people are running the Lady Death with it. This is a decent one. It's not the greatest, but it has breathe free. When moving, gain 4 stacks per second, or 8 stacks if sprinting, up to 32 total. Each round fired consumes a stack, applying damage by 75%. Kills grant 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. So that's why most people are running this around, because you get that 75% damage once you get it stacked up, and then you got the 35 coming from Intimidate. So yeah, it definitely packs a punch. That's 110% weapon damage right there. I was trying it with all 6 reds. I was really squishy, but with 6 reds in this build, I was critting for almost 600k with the Lady Death. So it is really nasty. But you can use whatever weapons you want to, just regular ARs, SMGs. But majority of people are running the Lady Death. I was actually running, like you've seen on the screen, this infantry MG5. Nice RPM, mag size, unhinged. Was running decently because, in my opinion, it's like I would get them down in armor and health, but then I would have to reload because the magazine is so small on the Lady Death. Now, if I had like 5 extra or 10 extra bullets, then it is easy peasy, wasting them. So I'm like, well, I'm typically an LMG guy, so that's why you see in the footage I had this infantry MG5. I tried out the Pestilence over the Lady Death, because you can only have that one exotic weapon. And to be honest, I actually like the Pestilence over the Lady Death. So it's just whatever your personal preference is when it comes to the weaponry and what you prefer to use. It is best within a group, but once I put the additional blues on here and take out some of these reds and get better pieces and up it, I think it's going to be really nice and even more potent and effective, especially in a group. So let's go over the stats themselves. We'll start out first with the Lady Death. 55.1% critical hit chance, 126.2 critical hit damage, 57.6 headshot damage, 6% armor damage. And there are the rest of the stats as followed. 44.6 all weapon damage bonus, and then of course you have the 24% submachine gun damage bonus. And I do believe, I'm not sure that I even have in my skill tree SMG damage. I believe I'm on LMG and rifle and AR. But then let's go back to the MG5. It's a toss-up between the MG5 and a Geb, but I mean, if I had to choose, then yeah, I would be going with the MG5. And as you can see, I'm still, min-maxing, working up the critical hit chance, but it has 44.1, 121.2% critical hit damage, 92.6% headshot damage. So yeah, the MG5 is definitely really potent. And there's the rest of the numbers as followed. As far as the attachment wise, we get the critical hit chance on the muzzle, we got it on the underbarrel, we have it on the optics, and then of course the plus additional 50 rounds. But like I said, I actually enjoy the Pestilence over the Lady Death. It's just all dependent upon you. Make sure, I know that I'm still going to get this in the comment section. Yes, this is by far min-maxed. It's just a different idea, a different variation of what other people are running that I have yet to see. So that's why I wanted to get it out there, let you try it out, find that sweet spot as far as when it comes to your Legos, the blues versus the reds. I do plan on getting better pieces, upping my numbers, changing out the reds and switching them to blues. I'll next be going to like a 5-in-1 setup, and then after that, I'm pretty sure I might even switch up some talents on some weapons. and then maybe actually go with a 4 and 2, and the 2 not being reds, but actually the 4 and 2 with some yellows, and just having that crit chance on there, and a little bit of crit damage. Maybe, you know, go into some repair skills at the same time, or incoming healing, and it's just, you know, trying to find out different variations and something different, something fresh than what everybody else is using, and the same combination of pieces and talents that everybody's using. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the love and support. We'll see you fudging later.